Okay then, the car's heading off onto the formation laps from the grid. It's the X30 Euro Series. Chris Hartley here in the commentary box alongside me, Matt Suckling, to talk you through what promises to be a fantastic final for the X30 Juniors. The race distance will be 16 laps around the Sette Laghi circuit here in northern Italy. And on pole position, we've got Ben Wooldridge, the British driver who won the pre-final, came through to overtake Milan Petelé. Now, Milan Petelé for Praga team in the number 16 car, there with the blue suit, yellow helmet. He is the driver that dominated yesterday, really, winning 2 of the 3 heats from third on the grid. From third on the grid is a good place to be. That is where Ethan Hawkey starts the race in the number 29 kart. Kylian Meyer from Spain is alongside there. You can see the grid on the screen. On row 3, we've got Chris Lullum and Thomas Milan. On row 4, we've got Oscar Palomo-Ortiz and Leon Schutz. On row 5, Royce Yu, all the way from Hong Kong, and Ethan Tan all the way from Singapore. Those two have been tied together all weekend. Very similar pace between those drivers. Also from Asia, Tanampongpan Sutomno, the Japanese driver, starts on the inside of row 6. Hugo Liu alongside him. Then watch out on the 7th row, you've got 2 potentially quick drivers here, Ruben Moya and Louis Westover. Now Louis Westover, the battery exploded on his kart, which sent him into a 720-degree spin. That's why he dropped out of the pre-final, but he is a quick driver and I think he'll come through. Likewise, watch out for Callum Bradshaw and Sam McDonnell on the 8th row of the grid, although Callum is not on new rubber for this one. On row 9 alone, it's Alexander Darcy, who also I don't think has got new slicks for this one. But the key point here is that the drivers 1st and 3rd on the grid, Ben Wooldridge and Ethan Hawkey, used up their last set of brand new slicks for the pre-final. So everybody around them on the grid has got slightly better tyres on, which might last a little bit longer and give them more grip. Be fascinating to see. Let's find out what happens. Here's Matt Suckling to talk you through the start of the race.
Thanks very much, Chris. It's going to be an interesting first corner. Can those on the new tyres go round the outside at turn 1? That is the first question. And who can come through after the 16 laps of racing to take the final win here in X30 Euro Series? They go through the grid hatchings to get the junior final underway here at Italy. Down towards the first corner, and the inside row is the place to be once again. All those 3 go through. Ben Wooldridge, Ethan Hawkey and Chris Lullum up into 1st, 2nd and 3rd places. The man on new tyres is down to 4th place already, so Milan Petelé has got to work very hard now, but he should be able to nurse those tyres through, and they should come on quick towards the end as well. Already Chris Lullum looking for an attack down towards turn 6. He thinks about the inside line in towards the right-hander, but for now he has to sit pretty in 3rd place, but not for long. Down the inside he goes of Ethan Hawkey, and down through into 2nd place has gone the Brit Chris Lullum. So a great opportunistic move there to get through, but straight away Ethan Hawkey fights back and gets into 2nd, and here comes the quick man on new tyres, Milan Petelé, trying to get through down at the hairpin at turn number 10, but he's now under attack from the Spaniard Kylian Meyer, trying to get alongside in towards the final corner. And after all of that, it kind of settles down at the end of this first lap, but it's not going to be like this for the whole race. It's going to be fast and furious. Down towards the first corner they go once more. Chris Lullum thinks about a move to the inside, and again he gets the job done. Really nicely achieved there from the Brit. Chris Lullum now back into 2nd place. Hawkey is there in 3rd. The man on new tyres, which is Milan Petelé, in 4th place, and then Kylian Meyer rounds out the top 5 at the end of the first lap. But again, attacking is going to head down towards turn 6.
Yeah, fabulous move, wasn't it, from Chris Lullum to gain the position. So we'll see how he does now. Bear in mind, those on brand new slicks, it takes usually a lap or 2 for new slicks to kick in. So they'll be doing well, but Petelé is fighting them off here in 3rd place, 4th and 5th, swap and swap again. Lullum did drop back, but he's got the place back now on the way into the next hairpin at turn 9 to get himself back up into 4th place. Ben Wooldridge coming under attack then from Chris Lullum, and he is nose to tail at the head of the field. Then you've got Petelé heading the next group of karts. Meyer and Palomo-Ortiz, was the driver going back and forth. And here it is again, the same move, this time for the lead of the race. Chris Lullum through, ahead of Ben Wooldridge. So the man on new tyres from the 3rd row of the grid, already into the lead of the race. And you think the tyres are only going to get better and better. But it's not just about having new tyres, it's about the way you've got the chassis set up and about how you use those tyres. Now, very slowly over the start-finish line, it's gone Thomas Milan. I think he's headed for retirement. A great shame as he qualified well on the 3rd row of the grid. Look at this, Ben Wooldridge coming under fire now, trying desperately to hang on to his 2nd place, but on the new tyres, through comes the French driver, Milan Petelé, down the inside to go through. He's going to take with him the number 26 kart of Kylian Meyer, and he should get through at the hairpin, but Ben Wooldridge fights back, in fact, gets back up the inside, then runs wide, then in the end, does wind up giving the place up, and another one. He's going to lose 3 positions here, Ben Wooldridge, so the pole sitter struggling at the moment. It looks like the gamble hasn't paid off. It's 17, Chris Lullum leading, 8 tenths clear already of Milan Petelé, Killian Meyer up to third, Oscar Paloma-Ortiz up to fourth place, and Ben Waldridge down to fifth.
The new tyres are now starting to work for those who have gone for them, so watch out now for those at the front to start to pull away. And the man who's going quicker than anyone is our race leader, Chris Lullam, a 51.368. So he is now starting to pull away from everybody else. But if those behind can start to work together, as Killian Meyer looks for a move there on our second place man, and he says to Killian, think about what you're doing. That's not the way to race, but if Killian wants to do it, he's going to do it, isn't he? So not too happy there was Milan Petelé, who's probably saying as well, work together. We need to catch up with Chris Lullam, who already at the end of this next lap is going to be near enough a second clear of the field. So on those new tyres, working very nicely in the heat here as Sete Laghi comes through once more. Second is still Petelé. Third place then is the Spaniard Killian Meyer. Fourth place again, a great start from Oscar Paloma-Ortiz. He's come from seventh on the grid up into fourth place now. So a really good start for the Spaniard. Fifth place is the man who's dropping down on those used tyres. That is Ben Waldridge. And sixth place again, good start from Royce Yu, the Hong Kong racer. 19, kart number 19, is working his way through. And just confirmation there, the Spaniard in third place, trying to get through, is now the quickest man on the track.
Yeah, very good lap that from Killian Meyer. You can see him closing in, can't you, on Milan Petelé. Not quite close enough to think about it just yet into the right-hand hairpin at turn 9. Petelé now knows he's got company, hops in the seat, tries to pick up his acceleration coming out of the hairpin, and that can be the problem when it's so hot, the tyres get so sticky. I put my hand on the circuit when I was walking to the dummy grid, and my hand actually stuck to the track. That's how sticky it is out there. That, of course, gives you a bit too much grip, and means the karts can bog down. The engine is fighting all the time against that extra grip. You're just sticking to the tarmac. Then equally, at the end of the race, the tyres can get too hot and get very slippy and slidey. So it's a real compromise. Another fastest lap of the race for Killian Meyer. That one's nearly 2/10 quicker than the previous lap. So 51.0453. You are looking at the battle here at the head of the field. Chris Lullam is the race leader by 0.8 of a second. But this is the battle for second place between Milan Petelé and right on his rear case here, Killian Meyer, number 26, the red nose cone. And the black race suit pushing on hard here. Oscar Paloma-Ortiz, number 27. He's a little bit further back now in fourth place. Ben Waldridge is still in fifth position. And up to sixth place, Matt, from almost the back of the grid, on old tyres, Callum Bradshaw.
That is very impressive. So Callum Bradshaw now, kart number 11, just flashing through the picture there. Is a little way off the back of Ben Waldridge, but still from the back, that is a great job he's done so far. And we've still got 10 laps to go. So plenty of time to make up a few more positions. As again, this fight for second place is not relenting whatsoever. So Killian Meyer still stuck to the back of Milan Petelé. And this time, will he make a move down towards turn number 6? He'll think about it. He won't quite dart out at the last minute though. So he stays there in third position. And again, the gap between first and second is down about the same now, to be fair. So they're not really losing time, although they are battling in this race. Again, Milan Petelé not happy with what the man behind is doing. You can see he's getting closer and closer, but what else can you do? You're going to either attack or you're going to work together, and it's entirely up to Killian Meyer what he wants to do. It's his race as well, so the man who sits in third place trying to get himself closer and closer to second to make a move, and in turn both of those trying to catch up with the man who leaves this race still, kart number 17 that goes through. Chris Lullam there, then a slight gap back to second and third, who then in turn have got a slight gap back to fourth and fifth, which is still Oscar Paloma-Ortiz, and fifth place there for Ben Waldridge. And then just over a second adrift of those is the man from the back, Callum Bradshaw, in kart number 11. But you feel, Chris, this battle for second place is surely going to boil over before too much longer.
Yeah, Killian is always pushing along, isn't he, Petelé here. At the moment, I'd be slightly inclined to just stick with it for a lap or two, because they have been a little bit quicker than the race leader for the last couple of laps. As long as the Spaniard does not feel he's being held up too much, it might be worth just sticking with it, because even if he overtakes and gets through, it is going to lose him a few tenths of a second. So we'll see what happens, but Petelé still just about quick enough at the moment. One driver we have not mentioned yet, Ethan Hawke, after a terrible start to the race, is running around at the back of the field, I'm afraid. Didn't see what happened to him, but down in 16th place. But going the other way, another driver coming through is Louis Westover from the 7th row of the grid, the number 15 kart. He's already up to 8th place, so he's overtaken half of the field here. Somebody else that's made good progress, Sam McDonnell from the back of the field, has got himself up into the top 10. So nose to tail down the back straight. The gap between the leader and these two is stagnated now. It's staying at 0.7 of a second. So they're not closing the gap, and the longer this goes on, the more Killian Meyer is going to want to get through. If he feels they're both catching the leader, he might not be too keen to get through, but now if he sees that gap, he's not closing and he's running out of laps, he might start to think about pulling off a move fairly soon. It's a bit closer on this lap, but I think the gap visually does look closer when they go through the hairpins. Still close for 4th and 5th as well, isn't it? Ben Waldridge has come through to 4th place now, back ahead of Oscar Paloma-Ortiz, who's right on his tail in 5th place, and then a second behind them is Bradshaw, still rounding out the top 6.
Yeah, I think Killian Meyer is definitely the quicker of the two, so if he can get through now, he could get on with the job and try and catch up with race leader Chris Lullum. So they are starting to run out of time. That time through, though, it looks like the gap had come down. Yeah, just under 0.7 of a second. So definitely this working together is helping both of them out. Again, as they head down towards turn 6, just thinking about a move there was Killian Meyer once more. And that part of the track looks pretty deceptive. It's really, really wide down there to the hairpin at turn 7. And again, here we go. The move, well, I don't know what he's trying to do there, but Killian Meyer now goes for it. He gets up into 2nd place. And this time it's his turn to try and lead the battle, to try and catch up with the leader. It's now or never really for Killian Meyer. So head down, push on with the job. The Spaniard, what can he do now? Now he's in front. Can he start to catch up with Chris Lullum? The gap will extend this time through after that move. It now goes down to just under 0.8 of a second. But let's see if Killian Meyer is any quicker than what Milan Petelet had done over the last 10 laps or so, because now it's Killian Meyer's chance to prove that he is the quicker of the two.
Might work out for Petelet this as well. I know he's just lost a place, but if Meyer is a bit quicker and he can go with him, it might bring him into that lead battle as well. So it might not be such a bad thing for the French driver to have lost that place. He's hanging on to the Spaniard, look, and it might just up his ante here, up his own pace. So we'll see what goes on, but the gap has grown to 0.9 of a second. The overtake does slow you down, so they're going to have to close it back. They're starting to close it back through that sector alone. They gained 1/10 of a second. And but Ben Waldridge is pulling away from Oscar Paloma-Ortiz as well. He's looking good in 4th position. What's his overall pace like? 51.2. He's a tiny bit slower than the leaders, but not very much. Doing a good job on the older tyres. Paloma-Ortiz still 5th. Still 6th place Bradshaw. Yu still 7th. And Westover in 8th place from the back of the field. McDonald up to 9th place now. And also from the back of the grid, the Greek driver, Alexander Darcy, has had a very good run from dead last up into 10th position. The gap, 0.7 of a second. So it comes down by 1.5 of a second on that lap. So Killian Meyer is starting to come back after him. He's got the gap back down to what it was in the first place. He's still got 5 laps to go, Matt. He's going to have to be pretty intense, though, for the next couple of laps, isn't he?
Yeah, certainly is. And you can see, I think, Killian Meyer a little bit quicker now than Milan Petelet, who did pull away there briefly through a corner, but then straight away through the hairpins, it seems the Frenchman is that little bit quicker. So he closes the gap once more. But if he can get a little bit of a push given to Killian Meyer, they both then should be in turn to catch up with Chris Lullum. He chucks it into the penultimate corner, really hanging everything out there as he runs over the rumble strip down towards the start-finish line once more. There's now just 4 laps to go, and the gap that time was just 0.6 of a second in terms of lap times. Again, Killian Meyer was quicker, but the man down in 4th place on used tyres is the quickest man at the minute, 50.977. How's he done that, Chris?
That's impressive, isn't it? Ben Waldridge, fastest lap of the race. Yeah, just before you said that, I just saw him coming through the last corner and thought, hello, he's a bit closer, isn't he? And so he is. Ben Waldridge flying. I suppose the advantage that the new tyres has gone off a bit now, relative. I mean, of course, the old tyres are getting worn as well. But that extra kick that you get from the brand new slicks maybe is not quite so effective in the second half of the race. And Benny's, we know, a quick driver, so he's coming after them and he's trying to get himself on the podium. There he is, number 30, Ben Waldridge. He's 0.8 of a second away from a podium position. Got 3 laps to go at the end of this one, though, so not that much time left in the race. Chris Lullum goes through. The gap has come down by 0.2 of a second. It's only half a second now. Chris Lullum, 51.18, 51.04 for Killian Meyer in second place, 51.16 for Petelet, and a 50.9 again for Ben Waldridge, who's catching everybody up in front of him. So a fascinating grandstand finish we are in for here in this race at Sette Lagi. Down into the turn 7 hairpin they go. Chris Lullum has had it all his own way so far, but he's got to keep on this, Matt, because they're starting to close after him.
Yeah, they certainly are. And could Ben Waldridge be the surprise package right towards the end? He's getting closer and closer, as you said, but has he got enough left in the tank and the tyres, and of course himself, to try and get a move done on 3 cars? That would be a massive achievement, but you never know. Ben Waldridge may get it done. They work their way through once again. 2 laps now to go, so here we go. Hasn't the gap come down anymore that time through? It's down to just under half a second. So again, Killian Meyer is slightly quicker that time through, and he's starting to catch Chris Lullum once again. So the race is not just done between those two, as they work their way through the left-hander at turn 3. And if Ben Waldridge doesn't catch the top 2, he's definitely going to catch our 3rd place man, isn't he? Milan Petelet is now falling back into the clutches of Ben Waldridge. So the final place on the podium is still up for grabs. So let's see what happens now as they turn their way through the hairpin
1 lap to go. Through they go there, a third and fourth, and Ben Wooldridge is almost onto the case now of Petelet. He's got a big opportunity down at the hairpins, and he's almost close enough to start thinking about attacking now for this final podium position. Ben Wooldridge for the last 4 laps has been the quickest man on the circuit. A couple of tenths quicker than anybody else is with him now. Half a lap to go, 2 hairpins to come. Petelet knows it. He holds the inside line. Wooldridge sweeps out wide and will try and cut back and run alongside him round the outside into the penultimate hairpin here, trying to go through around the outside. Then he cuts back to the inside. He's going to go for the inside line now. And for third place, it's wheel to wheel, and Wooldridge goes through. Here is the last lap. Board is a checkered flag. There is the winner. Lulham wins, Mayer second, and what a drive from Wooldridge to come through on that last lap to get a podium finish out of the last but 1 corner. 2 corners to go. He stole it. He had 1 chance. He took it with both hands. Great to see Kilian Mayer extending his arm as well, and handshakes out to Chris Lulham and a thumbs up. Great rivalry, but also great sportsmanship between these drivers in juniors, and that's really nice to see. Kilian Mayer drove really well in that one, but Chris Lulham with a really good start, and he was taking the pain with the older tyres in the pre-final, but goodness me, it worked for him in the final. Third place, though, to Ben Wooldridge on the used tyres for Vital Motorsport UK. That was a great drive. He crossed the line, 75 thousandths of a second clear of Milan Petelet. He's been doing all the winning yesterday, but unfortunately misses out on the podium. So it's Lulham that wins, Mayer second, Wooldridge third, 4th place to Petelet, 5th place to Paloma Ortiz. 9 places gained for Callum Bradshaw on used tyres. That was an excellent drive through to 6th place. Royce Yu comes home 7th. Louis Westover gained 6 places to go 8th. Sam McDonnell gained 7 places to go 9th. And Ruben Moya rounded out the top 10 in the race. The fastest lap of the race, the fastest few laps of the race, in fact, went to Ben Wooldridge. He did several 50.9s, but 50.977 seconds, the fastest lap of the race, to Ben.